Hey everybody, I will post weekly a little video like this to try to walk through the weekly assignment and give you some tips and tricks maybe. As I've taught this course several times now, I've kind of learned places where students get a little hung up on the instructions or where things might not be quite as clear. And so I hope that these videos will bring more clarity and help you to be more successful. So week one assignment, we are focusing on 7 ways to read the Bible. It's really kind of 7 different approaches, different ways as you are reading the text to kind of filter it or process it to bring about different insights. And so you'll watch these videos, part 1 and part 2, to learn about each of those approaches. And then, and I point this out, a main point of this week's assignment is to familiarize yourself with the Gospel of Mark. The Gospel of Mark is the book of the Bible that we will be in over the remainder of our 5 weeks, and we'll be digging in especially to Mark chapter 1. And so the goal is of inductive Bible studies to kind of read comprehensively through an entire book or letter, whatever literary genre the scripture is to read through that so that you kind of have the big picture read and the big picture of where the author is moving the text. So this week you're going to do that by taking 4 or 5 of the ways, these approaches that you'll learn about in the video, and reading through the Gospel of Mark over and over and over and over and over again in through these different lenses so that you can see different aspects of the Gospel of Mark. And by the end of the week, you'll be very familiar with the text of this scripture, which will help you going forward. So with that, you will make a PowerPoint. And so, in other words, you would choose one of the approaches, one of the 7 ways, and you would begin making a section of slides that talk about that particular approach to reading the Bible. What was it? Why is it valuable? And what was your experience using it? And then this is really key again. To earn a good grade, I need to see how you specifically relate it to your reading of the Gospel of Mark. So don't just live in this vague, general world of, reading reflectively is a beautiful thing, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, great. As you read the Gospel of Mark reflectively, what was one of the specific observations that emerged off of the text or out of the text as you were reading it in that way? So you're going to do that with 4 of the 7 ways. Okay, so now I'm going to give you a couple of tips. That's the basic gist of the assignment. A couple of tips. 1. It's a PowerPoint presentation, and yet you're supposed to use APA formatting. Admittedly, this is strange. It's strange to me to have to incorporate APA citations and formatting and references in a PowerPoint. Realistically, in ministry, or if you're teaching a group or class, you're not probably going to do that, right? But because this is a college course, you do have to implement that APA formatting. So just keep that in mind, especially as you are typing in the speaker notes section, okay? And it talks about that in the directions, but your PowerPoint slide is going to maybe have some bullet points, an image, that kind of thing. But in your speaker notes is where you're going to treat this a little bit more like a paper and write in paragraph form in those speaker notes to really answer these questions and then give your citations to the references for this week for the course, okay? So that's tip 1. Don't forget to do APA formatting, and don't forget to include those speaker notes. That's really kind of the body of the paper, so to speak, in this week's assignment. Tip number 2, final tip this week, is notice that in the instructions it says that you will choose 4 of these 7 ways, okay? Now here's the thing, if you don't know this yet about MacU, the way that they load the instructions in this portion of D2L, the weekly assignment, they are stating the requirements that meet expectations, which will earn, if you meet expectations, will earn you a B, okay? A little frustrating for maybe some of us who are A students or, want to do the very best. Tell us what that looks like, right? So that's where make sure every week on your assignment, if you're wanting to earn an A, if you're wanting to do the very best, click on this week 1 assignment rubric link. And the link will take you to a greater picture of what the requirements are to earn a certain score. So again, they're giving you instructions that tell you how to meet expectations, which is going to earn a B if you do that. So for instance, in the B column, it says content addresses 4 of the 7 ways to read the Bible. Okay, but to get an A, content addresses 5 of the 7 ways to read the Bible. So as I go back to grade, I have to grade according to this rubric. So if you only included 4 of the 7 ways, you're going to fall into the B column here, a B grade for this section of content. If you do 5, you're likely to fall into the A column or exemplary column of this part of the rubric, okay? And that kind of plays through different things. For instance, in the instructions, it says to give cite 1 reference to the video, but in order to get an A, you need to have 2 references. Same thing in the number of sentences that are written. Where is that on here? I think on the instructions, it's giving you the meet expectations and says speaker notes contain 5 to 6 clearly written sentences for each slide. But guess what? To get an A, you have to have 7 sentences. Okay, my point is, open the rubric because it gives clearer instructions about what really is required to earn the grade that you are shooting for. If that's an A, you're going to have to do more than what is written in this part of the instruction portal. Okay, so that's week 1 assignment. If you've got questions, if you're confused, give me a call, shoot me an email. Hopefully this will help you be more successful and will answer some of those questions that you might be wondering about. This actually is a pretty simple assignment, so enjoy it, soak it up this week because it's going to get a little trickier, a little more complex as we go forward. All right, talk to you soon.